mobility. It is really important to keep our hips as flexible, but as in condition as possible. When people say they want to do the splits, I try to remind them your body was not meant or designed to split your legs in the opposite direction. You have tendons and ligaments running up and crossing over your pelvis to hold everything so that you can walk, not so you can actually split your legs. Those people that do it naturally, they're just born super flexible. Those people that have to work into it, you could end up with some permanent damage later on in life. These exercises, stretches that we're about to go through, I saw them randomly, just thought I would share them and give a little description behind what they're doing. It will help if you have a yoga block. If you don't, that's fine. You can still do it on the floor. It will just be a little bit less of an intense stretch. You may need a yoga mat if you don't have a good carpet. You can put your yoga mat right next to your pole on the floor so that you have something to hold on to as we're doing the stretches. I will go ahead and start with my outside leg so you can see what's going on. The floor foot goes to a 90 degree. The yoga block goes back so that the knee is under the hip. So what's going to happen is if I was to go forward on this, I'd fall off the yoga block. It has to go lengthwise. And you're kind of starting at the back of the block so that as you lunge forward, your foot comes up, stretching your hip flexor. If you have tight hip flexors, or stretching your quad into your hip flexor, if this area is tight from sitting all day, it makes this posture happen and weakens your back muscles, hamstrings, booty, weakens all of this structure because you've stretched it out too much. You want to start 90 degree at both knees. When you lunge forward, bring the back toe up a little bit. You're going to feel it start to stretch right from your knee all the way up through your hip, depending on your stiffness. Hold it for a little bit. 30 seconds is plenty. 10 seconds to start if you feel like you're going to Charlie horse. And come back. Toe goes back to the floor. Relax for a second. Let me point something out. If you are super tight, you will actually even feel it here without even leaning forward. Because you have extended your leg into a different position, you will feel it go down into the quad even from here. I'm holding onto my pole for support and balance, leaning forward. When I come forward, the leg comes up. Eventually, maybe I might be able to put my fingers behind my ankle. And then release gently and come back into position gently. 2 to 5 times on each side is plenty. I'm going to turn around and do the other side. Remember, if you feel it here, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, we lunge forward and the toe comes up. Grab if you can. 30 seconds is plenty. I am on the edge of this, so I am going to bring it forward because I knew I was going to slip off. Try it again. Lunge, bring it up, grab if I can. If you cannot grab, you don't have to. You're not pulling, you're reaching. And that hurts my knee to pull on that side. So I'm just going to let it do its own thing and stretch as much as it can. Then release it down and come back. Lunge forward, pull up, grab if I can. Still hurts the front of my knee. So I'm just going to do the lunge. Ultimate goal, you should be able to tilt up high enough that your ankle is in line with your knee and your toes are pointing to the ceiling. Next exercise, you're going to sit with your booty between your legs, feet flat. You're going to pivot side to side and lift your toes. You're holding onto your pole just for support, not because your arms are doing the work. If that hurts, just get used to this position. You should feel this inner thighs, maybe your knees if you've got bad knees, quads, shins, and where your legs connect to your torso in that whole line of leg connection, leg socket. I do feel this in my lower back, but I feel it in a good way on the outside of my hips. If you feel it in your lower back, this is not an exercise for you. We're not trying to stretch the low back. We're trying to open the hips. So then we pivot and lift the toe, pivot and lift the toe, pivot and lift the toe, pivot and lift the toe. I'd say 5 on each side is fine to start. Slowly add up if that becomes something that seems easier for you. The next one is a mobility, can you get up exercise. I will probably end up taking off my socks so I have traction. If you're on a yoga mat, your socks will probably stick to the yoga mat, so you wouldn't have to worry about it. If you're on carpet, you'd probably slide if you had socks on, depending on the carpet, I guess. Either way, if you can wear socks, fine. If you can't wear socks, fine. You're going to have to play with it for whichever floor you're using. I am going to use my pole for support until I get used to the balance. I'm going to start with my outside leg straight and my inside leg tucked underneath me. If and when I get good, I will start with my hands in front of me. As I move forward into my lunge, my elbows will pull back for balance. As I sit back, my arms will extend for balance. Until then, I can actually just do one and hold the pole gently. I don't care where, what, when, why, or how. But you're not pulling with this hand to do the work. You're just supporting yourself. The ultimate goal is to lunge forward on the front leg, and the back leg opens up just like we did on the block, except the shin stays on the floor. You do not tip the leg for the knee. So we roll up and come forward. I'm limited on the stage. And come forward. When we sit back, the arms come back and we sit back down on it. We come up, the elbows push back for balance. We push forward, stretching right in here. They should be here. And then we use the arms to lower back down. Other side. This is going to be the wonky side for me, I can tell already. Yeah! And forward. And back. And forward. And back. Maybe try 5 on each side. If you needed to use the pole, like I said, not really doing anything, just making sure I have balance. As you can see, I'm not even grabbing, I'm just resting my fingers against the pole. Last one. This reminds me of Elvis and the hip thrusts and the knee bend that he used to do. If any of you are even familiar with what that looks like, because you're all so much younger than me. So you're going to be on your toes, same froggy position. If you can, this time the arms would be in front of you for balance. If you need to hold the pole, once again, it's here. What we're doing is we're dipping in. Keep your shoulders forward. Dipping in. You're pivoting on the toe. Dipping in. Keep your shoulders forward. My socks are sliding. Dipping in. Dipping in. Dipping in. Once again, I'd say 5 on each side to start. You can build from there. That one you're going to feel, or I feel it, in the outside of the hip, in the rotation. I don't feel any pull across my knee, but my feet are kind of underneath me. They're not, my butt's not dropped between my feet like the other froggy position that we did. If you have any questions, let me know. You don't have to do these, but take it from someone who's been doing this for years. When something comes along that tries to help work out the kinks from the repetition that pole requires, you may want to add this in once in a while, a couple times a week. Up to you. Be safe, have fun. If you have questions, let me know. Bye.